want to talk to you about The Ladies Hall. It's just such a great book. I'm just so excited for everyone to get a chance to read it and learn a little bit more about Mary Church Terrell and Anna Julia Cooper as they are young women trying to figure out
Yes.
how their life is going to go, and having this opportunity to be at Oberlin College. So thank you so much for joining me and agreeing to chat with me. And for those that are unfamiliar, Vanessa Miller is a best-selling and award-winning author whose work centers strong Black women as they navigate the world with hope and perseverance. And The Ladies Hall, which comes out on Tuesday. And I know you've been making the rounds to make sure people know about the book and purchase the book and be able to really learn a little bit more about these women in a different context than what we may know. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for wanting to do this. I greatly appreciate it. You just don't know how much this helps when for us to continue to get the word out about my next release, The Ladies
Yes.
Hall.
Yes, definitely. Before we get into The Ladies Hall, I would love to know what is something about just like your author origin story that folks would be surprised to know?
Something that they would be surprised to know. I don't know. Maybe that this is book number 57. And so I have been writing for a long time. You know, it has been 2003. My first book came out, and that was a series called the Rain series. And so I've been at this for a long time. In case people just started hearing about me after the American Queen,
Mm-hmm.
so just to let you know, I've got a whole bunch of other books back there.
Yes, so there's plenty to choose from. So if you love the historical fiction novels that you've written, there's plenty to go back. Your reading list will be full if you want to go back
Absolutely.
and read all 56 of the other books. Um, what prompted your pivot into Black historical fiction and focusing in that way?
So I had decided that I wanted to write women's fiction. I had kind of left traditional publishing for several years, and it was after my mother had passed away, and I had to take responsibility for my brother who has a mental handicap. And so I knew I couldn't travel as much. And so years passed, and I decided, okay, I'm ready to get back out there. And so when I came back to traditional publishing, I decided I was going to be a women's fiction author. And so I asked an author by the name of Lisa Wingate for an endorsement on my first women's fiction, which was titled Something Good. So she not only gave me that endorsement, but later on, when I went back to thank her, she is the one who told me that a Facebook friend told her about the Kingdom of the Happy Land. And she said, Vanessa, since you live in North Carolina, you might want to do some research on that. And as I began to look at it and research it, I knew I had to write the story of Luella Bobo Montgomery. And that is what changed the whole trajectory of my career. And so, where I thought it would only be women's fiction, I now also write historical fiction.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then after The American Queen, you also published The Filling Station, which I loved as someone who lives in Tulsa.
I was getting ready to say, we know you love it because you actually took a trip to the filling station and
Yes.
videoed it, and I thought that was just a lovely video. I loved what you did. And fun fact, I'm actually going to be. I never was able to see the filling station when I wrote the book,
Mm-hmm.
because when I went out to Tulsa, I had asked for permission to be able to come and see the land and everything, but I hadn't heard back from the descendants. of the people I wrote about. So I don't like to, do something without getting permission,
Mhm.
especially something like that since I was writing the book. But now they turned the filling station is a countywide read over in the area where the filling station is, and they are now going to give me a tour, so I get a
Oh,
tour
yay.
in September. Next month I
Okay.
go for the countywide read, and then we're gonna go and visit the filling station, and I get the whole tour that you already took.
Yes, I love that because just reading it, and I am fairly new to living in Tulsa, so I'm not like a Tulsa native.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but being able to like read about the Tulsa Race Massacre in this way, and then be able to actually physically go to what inspired the story was just so amazing to be able to like actually walk into the steps of history in that way. And then with the Ladies Hall, which comes out on Tuesday, uh, we also have a real life location because this book is centered on Mary Church Terrell, Anna Julia Cooper, and also we have appearances by Ida Gibbs Hunt as they are young women navigating the world, trying to figure out what they want to do next. And they have this opportunity to go to Oberlin College, and which is really special because it admits both women and men, but also black people and white people, and
In the
which was
1800s.
yes, which was like very progressive for the time. And you get to see them navigate what that actually looks like. Like, is we might have these ideals of being progressive and everyone being able to have these opportunities, but what does it actually look like in practice, especially when some people are very resistant to that happening? Why do you think this is like the perfect time to be showcasing their story in this way?
Oh, I think this when I began writing the ladies hall, I really had no idea we would be dealing with everything that we're dealing with right now.
Mhm.
Equality is once again being challenged in this country for Black Americans, and this is what Mary Church Terrell and Julia Cooper and Ida Gibbs Hunt fought for back in the 1800s and the early 1900s. They challenged the system with fighting for civil rights and also women's rights. And so this book to me is like you are reading a historical book, but I think people as they read it, it's going to remind them of some of the things that we're facing today. And
Mhm.
it's unfortunate, but I seriously believe that each generation has had to fight this fight for equality, unfortunately.
Mhm. Yes, because we follow them at Oberlin College, and there's like these moments of progression where it's like, okay, things are moving in the right direction, and you get to experience that with the historical events that are woven into the
Mhm.
novel. But then also regression, like you said, this is like what we're experiencing now of like making so many strides and then seeing those strides be pulled back in a
Correct.
variety of ways. Why did you want to focus on them at Oberlin specifically?
Well, I originally was thinking about writing something on Mary Church Terrell herself. I've
Mm-hmm.
always been fascinated with her. Well, I began to read up on her, and there was this one paragraph about the fact that she attended Oberlin College with Anna Julia Cooper and Ida Gibbs Hunt, and that these were some of the first Black women to receive their 4-year degree. And it piqued something in me. And I said, well, wait a minute. I wanted to not just write about Mary Church Terrell, but I wanted to write about this progressive area of Oberlin because when you begin to research it, you discover that the doors were open at Oberlin College, but the hearts were not. And so Mary, Anna, and Ida had to fight even in a college that was built for both Black and white students because here when they enter in 1880, It's 50 years after the founding fathers built this college, and they built it to be a place of equality. Well, now all of the people no longer believe like that, as the founding fathers have passed away. And so, but Mary, Anna, and Ida have something to show them, and I enjoyed writing what they were dealing with, but also how they handled it. And each item that I'm showing of what they were dealing with, those are in the archives at Oberlin College. They actually told the truth about what went on, and even when Mary Church Terrell was cheated out of certain things, and they did it just because she was a black woman, and they really felt like she needed to be brought down a peg or two, because not only was she a black woman, but her father was one of the richest black men in America during that time period. So Mary was not, your average black girl. And so they really had a problem with some of them had a problem with that. She actually developed a lifelong friendship with a woman by the name of Janet, who she met at Oberlin College. So I wanted to explore that as well, because Janet really became an ally of Mary's.
Yes, and I loved how you were able to showcase the differences in how Mary and Anna were trying to combat like what was happening and like really
Hmm.
trying to fight for equality, because like you mentioned, they're coming in from different experiences
Yes,
and almost different worlds. With Mary, like you said, her father is one of the richest men in the country. She's used to being able to navigate the world in a very certain way.
correct.
At the start of the novel, she's also 17. So if we're thinking about someone who's like, I can move how I want to move, and being met with that resistance,
Yeah,
how that impacts her. And then Anna is coming from humble beginnings. Like she was previously enslaved, and
correct.
she's older, so she's coming in with a different perspective than Mary. Why, like you
Absolutely.
said, you
And
initially were.
different insecurities, because Mary felt like she belonged in the room. Anna was not always sure if she fit in the room because of the place where she came from. So Anna had to grow and understand that, yes, she belonged there, and she was just as qualified as anyone else. Whereas Mary was like, oh, they might be trying to do this stuff, but Mary's thought was, I not only belong here, I I belong here even more than a lot of
Yes.
them.
Yes. Which inspired her to like continue to push the envelope and like go
Yes,
after different positions and like make her voice heard, because she's like, I deserve to be here and everyone is going to know.
that's
Everyone is going
right.
to know about it. Can you talk a little bit about why you also wanted to showcase Anna in the story? Like you said, originally you were really focused on Mary Church Terrell. Why did you
Hmm.
want to bring Anna's story into this as well?
Well, because I thought they both were two different perspectives that I could show. This girl who was enslaved until she was 6 years old, had all of these challenges against her. Her father was presumed to be her mother's enslaver, but that was never verified. And so, yet and still, she is not only able to go off to college in a different state. She was from Raleigh, North Carolina, and she goes all the way to Ohio to attend this college. But after this, Anna becomes like this world traveler. you know I was so fascinated with her. She's gone to London. She was in Paris, she was in Germany, she was, just different places that you would not expect a girl with no means to be in the 1800s or early 1900s. Not only that, at the age of 64, she went back to school and received her PhD. She went to Paris to get her PhD. And so she inspired me to the point where I'm now back in school for my MFA. You know, I've been out of college a long time. I had my bachelor's degree and I thought that was going to be it. But after researching her and writing about Anna Julia Cooper, I had for years had wanted an MFA, and but I said, oh, I'm too old for that. You know, those years are past me. But I said, oh, no, they're not. And so I'm enjoying being back in school to get this MFA. Now, they gave me a lot of credit hours, so I only have to go for 1 year versus the 2 years. Now, if I
Mhm.
had to go for the whole 2 years, I don't know if I would have done it. But I'm enjoying it, and it's going
Mhm.
to be a short time.
Well, congratulations, and Anna's impact continues to live on in inspiring
Absolutely.
you to continue to pursue education. I think there's something really special about biographical historical fiction and being able to like showcase these people that we may know, yeah, that we may know in a different way. Can you talk a little bit about the balance of all of the research that you put in to the story to like showcase them in the way that shines light on them while also trying to create like a very captivating story? And like, what does that tension and balance look like?
Well, Well, the first thing I had to research each one specifically and research Oberlin because I wanted Oberlin to be this. Hey, Tara, hi, how are you doing? So I wanted Oberlin to be like this other character within the story because this town of Oberlin really fascinated me, and they were like this abolitionist town, and so there was so much research that I put in the novel that I ended up having to take out because I just became so fascinated with the town. But I knew it was holding it. It made the novel go a little too slow to have everything in there. But
Mhm.
I will say I did lean into the history, and so this novel, whereas my other novels I would say are a bit faster than the Ladies' Hall, but I felt like the history of it was important to be able to show because I wanted people to know about what they were doing during this time. So I tried to combine what each person was doing. Like Mary's doing something here, but I'm adding bits of the history of the town when she goes to like a luncheon or I think it was a tea. I'm telling you about the history also of Oberlin with that. So I'm letting you see what Oberlin believed in. And then also with Anna, when she goes and she stands in front of this monument to the people who died in the Civil War because they were fighting against slavery and they came from Oberlin. I'm telling you again about the history of Oberlin and what they believe, but I'm telling it to you through the actions of Mary and Anna. So that's how I tried to do it, and so I hope I was able to accomplish what I was trying to accomplish with this particular book.
Yeah, I think you definitely did because I have like limited information about Oberlin College, but I felt like I had a better understanding of not only the college in of itself and like how it operated to support or potentially detract from the things Mary and Anna were trying to do, but also just context of the time period as well, and like really being able to understand what they were having to go through and the balance that they had to play as well, being like very talented, brilliant women, but also being surrounded by people who wanted to discount that at every turn in a place that is supposed to be welcoming as well. And then there's also a certain character where, yeah, they were they were doing a lot in order to counter everything that Oberlin was standing for as well.
Doing the most.
Yes, I was yelling out loud at them a few moments.
Yes,
You'll have to read the
yes.
book to know who I'm talking about. But yes, they were stressing me out. So I can't even imagine what Mary and Anna would have experienced in that situation, because that was focal. The focus was on one character, but I'm sure it was many more people that they were having to navigate as well.
Well, when you write fiction, you have to kind of, this particular person represents several people, but
Mm-hmm.
you can't name everybody, because then people get lost in who's doing what. And so, yeah, but each thing she did, there's information in the archives in Oberlin about what was being done to Mary Church Terrell during those times. Even though in her memoir she's like, "Oh, I had a lovely time at Oberlin." No, you didn't. Well, sometimes you did,
Yes.
but the thing about it was she lived at Ladies Hall her freshman year, and then she moves out, and she does not move back in until her senior year. There was a reason for that, and they openly admitted it, that she moved out because of the racism she was receiving. And so I was very happy with the archives at Oberlin, that they told the truth about what was going on. And so yeah, there were definite issues. But the thing about it, what I was so proud about with Mary Church Terrell, is that she was a fighter. And I really believe that's why she decided to move back in Ladies Hall her senior year, because she decided she was not going to let them take something away from her that she wanted.
Yes, and through the course of the novel, Mary goes through a lot of transformations. Like we mentioned at the beginning, she's a very privileged woman coming from a very wealthy background. She knows that she's talented as well as has this backing from her father. But then she has to figure out a way for her to, what I call like intentionally agitate situations based on her being able to have that safeguard of knowing like she has her family. If she wanted to, she could leverage their wealth if needed, but
Yes.
she's still a black woman in this world, so she has to like have this delicate balance, in contrast to Anna, who does not have that backing. So her
Right.
approach is much different, even though she knows that she's smart and she belongs there. She navigates the world a little bit differently. You,
Absolutely.
yeah, you mentioned doing a lot of research and trying to figure out what you wanted to keep versus what wouldn't make it into the novel. Is there anything that you uncovered either about Oberlin or Mary or Anna that didn't make the novel that you also thought was like really compelling or interesting?
There's always things that I have uncovered that don't make it into the novel, but I'm gonna tell you, and those are always things that I think, man, it should be in the novel. But by the time the book comes out, I forget about what it was. I
Yes.
always move it over, like, this is going to be important. I need to keep
Mm-hmm.
this over here. But I cannot tell you which ones I had to take out. I honestly, at this point, I don't remember. And I think it also has to do with, there's a lot of work that goes into bringing a novel to life. And so by this point, I'm just kind of brain dead.
That's okay.
And so
Yes.
I don't remember.
Not a problem. Oh, and just for context for folks, the ladies' hall is the women's dormitory where Mary and Ida lived, and that's of course the title of the novel. And we get to see a lot of the interpersonal relationships that happen in there, where we have women there, but we have black women and white women, and how that interacts. And then also, if you're just thinking about undergraduate students, like you're going to have conflicts anyway, let alone if you see the world differently as well. Um,
Absolutely. I'm
yes.
going to try something. Can I share this?
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Let's
Let's
see.
see here. No, it's telling me. Let's see here. See, I'm not no, it won't let me share it to my I was going to share it to my Instagram page, but I don't see
Okay.
how to do it. So I'm not going to mess anything up, and then we'll we already had a tough enough time trying to get it on.
Not a
But look, I see
problem.
someone put in there, Vanessa knows how to write a stress factor character for sure. I try. I do try.
Yes. There's always somebody we have to keep our eyes on because they're
Yes.
doing they're doing
Doing the most.
something. Yes. Yes. And like you said, in this novel, there's like this running theme of like how to fight for equality based on like the situations that are happening.
Mhm.
Why did you want to focus the novel and showcase it in that light?
Cuz I think it's important. I think that we are black excellence personified. I think that black women have done some amazing things, and you are beautiful, and I think black women are also put upon so much. There's always someone trying to say something against black women who are doing nothing but minding our own business. And
Mm-hmm.
so I love to be able to write about these powerful black women and showcase them, because I want to show that, you know, no matter what other people are saying about us, their story is not the true story, but we know who we are. And so equality to me is and it is something we fight for, but it's something we live every day. We don't black women, to me, we're just like a different breed. We don't really care what other people have to say. We are going to get up and we are going to make things happen time after time after time, and I think that needs to be celebrated. And and no matter which book I'm writing, I'm always trying to celebrate black women. I want to honor us in the books that I write. That's something that's very important to me. I think we get put upon enough in this world and by people. So when I write my novels, I'm really trying to honor the black woman, and just say, girl, you doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on doing it. Or I'm saying, look at how this one handled business. And I want them to be able to say, yeah, and I can go do that too. So
Mm-hmm.
that's always been important to me, that my reader, not and I prayed about that. And I've always prayed that, God, let my readers find something in my books that inspires them to be able to go to whatever next level they are about to go to. Whatever God has for you, I want them to begin to believe that it's possible, because it is. I mean, my prayer is that as they read about these women from the 1800s, that they say in 2026, if they could do all of that back then, what is going to stop me?
Mm-hmm.
What in the world can stop you from doing what you want to do, what you have in mind to do. And I think what happens is a lot of people, they get afraid to say the things that they want, because what if it doesn't work out?
Mhm.
What if it doesn't? Oh
Mhm.
well, then you move on and you keep trying, you go to the next thing. I don't know how much time we have. I want to kind of say this, because when I
Yeah.
came back to traditional publishing, the one thing I said was, okay, I want to make USA Today. Now, of course, I want to make New York Times, but I felt like, there's levels to this.
Mhm.
And I had not made, either one of them when I was traditionally published before. So I said, I want to make USA Today. And I had it, I put it on my Facebook page, like in the bio section, future USA Today bestseller. And so something good came out. It didn't make it. What We Found in Hallelujah came out. It didn't make it. The Light on Halsey Street came out. It didn't make it. The book I really thought would make it, The American Queen, came out, and The American Queen was the book that really put me on blast. It really elevated my career, but it did not make it. So, but even before American Queen came out, I had quietly taken off this future USA Today bestseller from my Facebook page, because now I was like, oh, I'm embarrassed, because people kept asking me, well, did you make it yet? Did you make it? And so I was like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So the filling station comes out, and I am no longer checking the USA Today bestseller list, because I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go out here. I'm going to promote my books. I'm not going to worry about it. Someone had to message me and tell me that I made the USA Today bestseller list,
Yes.
because I was like, I'm not checking anything. But that to me is the whole point. You have to believe in yourself. You have to say the things that you want. And even when you don't get it the first, the second, the third, or even the fourth time, you keep going after it. You keep going. And you don't let other people make you feel embarrassed about what you say you want out of life. You trust in God and you do the work.
Mhm.
Because let me tell you, this thing, Les Brown, he's a motivator. He used to say, it'll work if you work it.
Mhm.
And that is true. I've always believed that, and I work hard in this business. I really do, and I believe that one of my books, and I don't know which one, is going to be New York Times. One of my books is going to sell 1 million copies on its own. Not, I have several books that didn't get me 1 million copies. One is going to sell. I mean, it may do more than 1 million. It can
Yeah.
go ahead and do
That's just
that
the
too. But
baseline.
on
That's
my
just the
on my
baseline.
on my prayer board or vision board, it says, 1 million copies. But I'm saying, hey, it can. I don't want to limit the book,
Right.
so it can do more. But I
Mhm.
have these dreams. But I believe that that is what we should be doing. And we should not be letting the world limit us, even though that's what they want to do. And so that's why I think the ladies' hall is important, because it shows you that they didn't worry about limits. And we should not either, even in times like this.
Mhm.
I said a whole lot. I'm sorry.
No, no apology necessary. And I definitely think that sentiment is so needed because we,
I'm sorry. I see a question. It says, but what if it doesn't work out? Then you try again.
yes, yes. And that's a lot of what Mary and Anna had to work through and really just
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
honoring
She
that
says, but
belief.
what if it does work out?
Yes. Yes, because like especially if you have something that's on your mind, that's on your heart, like why limit yourself and just assume that it's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
And we actually see that with Mary and Anna in the novel. Like they have very big dreams for their life and what they want to do, and even though they face obstacles, they still continue to navigate their systems, work towards it. And then also that sentiment that keeps coming up, building until we climb. So like being able to like once I have moved in a direction, because they were very aware that it's first of all it's limited women in this course that we're taking because they were taking the same course as the men,
Yeah,
but also even more limited Black women. So like what can we
absolutely.
do to like work together to make sure we all make it, and then the next ones
That's
can make
right.
it, and then the next ones can make it. So I just loved that sentiment as well.
Absolutely. And Mary Church Terrell's motto was lifting as we climb. And
Mm-hmm.
so they believed that education was the tool that would get Black women to the next level. And but they also believe that these educated women, uh, or these women who were in the higher echelon, should then reach back and pull up other women. And so, and that is what I pray we continue to do. You know, it wasn't just for a time back then. It is especially for times like these when over 600,000 Black women have been displaced from their jobs, just because they didn't feel like Black women should have these jobs. So it is up to us to continue to lift as we climb, as we see those type of things happen. And then we know that then when they're trying to apply for jobs again, you know, employers are not necessarily giving out the interviews because the name sounds Black,
Mm-hmm.
because now they've been given this kind of thing where they don't have to hire us if they don't want to. But the thing that they don't understand is Black women and men we've never been given anything. We worked hard for everything that we get. So what you try to keep from us, oh, we're just gonna turn around and get it on the other end. And that's the thing that they cannot understand about us, is that no matter how you try to destroy us, we are just gonna keep on rising. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm so happy to write the books that I write, because it's about resilient people. And I believe that, I know Black people are tired of having to be resilient, but honey, when that's what you got to do, we find a way to do it.
Definitely. If you have any questions about the Ladies Hall or for Vanessa, definitely add them into the question box. You see a question mark there, and we'll answer some questions in a moment. Um, how do you want readers to feel after finishing the Ladies Hall? It comes out on Tuesday.
Hmm.
Hopefully, everyone is picking it up. They could pre order it now. But how do you want folks to feel once they finish the story?
I want them to feel inspired, to feel lifted up, as they see the things that these women went through, but how they came out of it. I can't tell what the point of it is at the end, but Mary Church Terrell had said when she discovered that her parents had once been enslaved, and that people would look at her and know that she was um, a descendant of former slaves. She said that she would work hard enough to where she would be in rooms with white people, but they would have to look at her as their equal. And so as you read the book, I want you to see how she accomplishes that, and becomes not only their equal, but they're better.
Yes,
She shows them that she is on top, and don't you ever forget it.
yes. You will have to rise to the occasion to meet her level because she
To meet
continued.
her level. That's
Yes,
right.
because she continued to raise the bar for everyone that was around her.
That's right.
As you're thinking about your work holistically, this being your 57th novel, and I'm sure you have so many more stories that you want to tell as well. If you overheard a reader raving about your work saying you have to read Vanessa Miller's work, what 3 words would you want to hear them say?
You said 3 words?
Yes, yes, 3 words.
Uh, Glory to God.
Mm-hmm.
So if I got 3 words, because I have always thought, so I want my books to point people back to a loving God.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important to me. But I also want my resilience and what it does for Black people, and to help them to see who they truly are meant to be
Mm-hmm.
in their own space and what they are meant to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, let's see. We have one question. Let's see. Okay, it says, Vanessa, what was your favorite part of this novel? Um, what was your favorite part of writing Ladies Hall?
Mm. So my favorite part actually comes closer to the end, and I can't
Mm.
tell you because it is the point of the novel when you discover this thing that I knew when I started writing the book.
Mm.
And so that was I would say that was probably my favorite part, because it really just kind of brought a smile to my face, and I believe it's uplifting, and so I want the reader to experience it and get to that part.
Hmm. Gotcha. Was it related to Mary or Anna? So that way when folks are reading,
It
they get
was
toward the end, they
there's
can like,
there's two
okay,
one
okay.
one is related to Mary, and the other one is related to Anna, and I can tell you this part. And what I already told you about Mary's, her thing was she
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be equal to the white people she stood in the rooms with, and not just, but she proved not just equal but better.
Mm-hmm.
Anna's was she wanted to be seen. And then
Mm-hmm.
there is a part at the when we get to the end. Oh man, I loved writing that. And it is when she goes to Wilberforce College, and
Yes. Yeah.
I loved that scene. And so to me, that was Anna's time to shine. And so
Mm-hmm.
so those were the two times in the book that were just kind of like my favorites. And I'm sorry
Yes.
that they come close to the end, but they were my favorites.
Yes. Oh,
I
I
had to
love
I had
that.
to get you to those parts.
Yes. No, I love that, and I won't say what it is, but that
But did
moment
you
with
feel it? Did you feel it
yes,
for
yes,
Anna? Did you feel
yes
it?
for Anne, like that moment, because like you said, of like not limiting yourself and really just putting it out there what you want, and her being able to get even more back definitely impacted her in all of these ways. So
Yes.
I definitely loved that part. If you have any other questions, feel free to use the question box as well. And while the Ladies Hall is coming out on Tuesday, like we mentioned, you are going on in a very extensive tour. So that way, there is no one who should not know about these ladies or the Ladies Hall.
That's right. That's right.
Can you tell us about some of your upcoming events so folks want to meet you in person, buy the book in person,
Absolutely.
get them signed? Where can they find you?
Absolutely. So on this Saturday coming up, a pre-release event is going to be in Washington, D.C. You would have to go to my website, VanessaMiller.com, VANESSA, VanessaMiller.com, and you can register for that event, because that event is $45 because you get light bites, and we're also going to get we get to tour Mary Church Terrell's museum. And
Oh
so,
yeah.
oh, I think that is so special. And so, but for my book release event will be in Winston-Salem, North Carolina at Bookmarks. And so there are still some seats available, but they're filling up. I'm
Yes.
so happy with Bookmarks. We already have a nice crowd, but come on out. Go over there. You can RSVP for that. Then I have an event and in Charlotte on August the 13th, which is my hometown, and
Hmm.
you can still RSVP for that one. Is the addresses for everything is on my website. I will also be at page 158, which is
Can
okay.
can you repeat about page 158? That part.
Okay. Yeah. So my phone messed up a little bit. Page 158, and that is in. Where is page 158? It's in North Carolina, but now I'm like, where? It's not coming to me. Where
That's
is
okay.
that? Hold on.
For those watching live, the link that is on this live goes to Vanessa's website. So you can see how to purchase the book, but then you can also see the tour dates there. So you can go to VanessaMiller.com and see everything. I am pretty sure she's going to be close by you at some
Right.
point during her tour. So definitely
And
make sure to check it out.
And if page 158 is in Wake Forest, North Carolina. So
Yeah.
that's at 3 o'clock. But at 1 o'clock that morning, I'm gonna be in Pittsboro, North Carolina. Not at 1 o'clock, 11 a.m. Pittsboro, North Carolina at McIntyre Books. And then all the rest of them are on the website. I'm gonna be in
Mhm.
Texas. Come my birthday week. So I'll be in
Okay.
Texas.
Yeah.
So go to the website. You can see those dates. I'm coming back to Ohio, which is my hometown. But if you're not in any of the locations, I have two virtuals. So I'm doing a virtual on August the 10th, which is with I'm gonna. I'm always messing up the name, and they don't have the name on here, but it's on August 10th with a New York bookstore, and
Hmm.
Donna Hill is. I'm going to be in conversation with Donna Hill, so you can go
Oh, yeah.
RSVP. You can RSVP for that, and then on August 12th, I'm doing one just personal for
Hmm.
my readers who have already pre-ordered the Ladies Hall, whether you pre-ordered an ebook, a paperback, the hardback, or the audiobook, go to my website, VanessaMiller.com, and scroll down. There's a link for you to put your email address on it, and we will be sending you the Zoom link, and we're just going to have fun and get together on August the 12th
Okay.
for all of my people who have pre-ordered the book. And
Yeah.
so just go over there and you'll find all the other dates and everything. But yes, I'm going to be on an extensive tour. Believe it or not, though, my one next year is going to be even more than this
Next
one.
year.
Yeah, they just asked me to do like a get in the car and go for like a month from
Mm,
from
okay.
one place to the next. So
Okay. And
so I
it'll
was like,
still be,
I'm up for the challenge.
yeah, and it'll still be promoting the Ladies Hall just next year as
No,
well,
no,
or
that'll be a different book. But of course,
okay.
I'll ask the stores to not only carry that book. I'm not gonna mention the name right now. That
That's
book, but
fine.
also the Ladies Hall when I come, because it'll be different places than where I'm going this year. So we're gonna try to hit different stores for that book, and so yeah.
Got you. Yeah, because there were a couple of requests for locations in the comments
Okay.
for Atlanta and Alabama.
So
So
Atlanta, I will be in Atlanta next year.
Mm,
So look for that. I'll be in Atlanta and probably Alabama too next year.
gotcha. Okay. And then there was a brief mention as well about the audiobook. And I just have to say, Angel Ping does such an amazing
I
job
love her.
narrating this story. So if there's anyone who enjoys audio, I highly suggest reading this immersively so you can see and experience Vanessa's words and then hear Angel's narration. It's just
Yes,
so
we're
good.
we're in partnership for my historicals. I
Oh,
write it,
good.
and then we go get her to do the narration. I hope she is
Uh,
always available for my
yeah.
historicals. I think she I think she just has a voice for especially historicals,
Yes.
and I think especially the way I write. Her
Hmm.
voice just really connects with the way I write, and so I love her. Yes.
Yes, I love her too. So I'm glad you all are working close together. It could be a dream team for as many historicals you want to write that she
Yes.
can
I'm like, I
narrate.
don't care who else is asking you to come do their work. No, you have to do mine first.
Right, exactly. And then you mentioned a little bit about something for next year. Is there anything you can share about what we should expect?
Well, it's a book club book.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a it is I can give the title. It's called the Disgruntled Black Ladies Book Club. And it will be women's fiction, but
Mhm.
it's a book club book, and I'm very excited about that one. I was out just a couple of days ago. We were promoting it early. I was promoting that one night, and then promoting the ladies' hall the very next morning at the same same event. And so it's been like that though the last few months. I've been promoting both, but
Mm.
that one, the other one, a little early on because we're just trying to get promotions done early for the other one. And
Mhm.
so yeah, and so now we're at the tail end of the promotions for this one. And
Yeah.
so I'm just very happy with it, and I cannot wait for people to get this book in their hands. Call your local bookstores, find out if they're carrying it, and if they're not, ask them why not, what's wrong with
Mhm.
y'all.
Right, because they need to have it. It was just so good, and was I was able to learn about these women in a different light,
Yes.
and I just so appreciated it and loved it. So I'm so excited for other people to read it, so I can have other people to talk about it with. So I don't spoil, so I don't spoil anything for anybody. Um, what excites you most about where your writing journey is headed?
Hmm. Well, I really like what I'm doing as far as I'm trying to write deeper
Mm,
stories. This next historical that I'm writing, I'm kind of doing it at a different flow,
okay.
and it's a different way than I've done before, and so I'm excited. I'm excited about trying new things. After you've written so many books, you try different things and see how that works for you. So that's kind of what excites me now about my books. How can I make this different, or what else can I do, to make this fun for me? Because I also want it to be fun, because I have to get out there and promote it for about a year
Hmm.
at least
Hmm.
before I get to the next one. So yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Just making it fun.
Hmm. And that, can you give any insight on what you're tackling in your next historical?
So my next historical is about it's about the an area that was in Charlotte that was once a black area of
Mm,
town, and urban renewal came and removed the people, and so and the area was called Brooklyn.
mm,
And so I get to write about it because there was a library there that was a colored library. and it was considered the second Carnegie library for colored folks, but it was the only library for colored folks in Charlotte, well, in North Carolina. During that time, it was built in 1905, and so the book is titled "The Colored Library of Rented Souls," and so I'm excited about that one. I'm I'm looking forward to it. So I'm still writing it though, and
Yes.
hold on one second. I have to get this cord because this
Hmm.
thing is about to go dead on me.
Okay.
So keep talking. I'm here.
Well, I'm definitely really excited that we know we at least have two more books on the way from you after reading the Ladies Hall. So make sure pre-order the book if you have not already, so that way you can read the Ladies Hall, and then you, like you already said, you have an extensive backlist. So there,
Yes,
you have a book by Vanessa that you could read in the interim time period while we're waiting for
and
these other two as well.
yeah, and I think I have contracted for books all the way up until like 2029 for right now.
Oh,
So yeah, I've got a few more.
yes.
I've got to get written before I even go into contract again. So
Mhm.
I've contracted for quite a few more books. So I'm thankful for that.
Yes.
I'm always thankful to be able to do the thing that I enjoy so much.
Hmm. Well, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I just so enjoyed chatting with you about the Ladies Hall and just getting a little bit more insight on your story. For everyone else, like we mentioned, you can pre-order a copy of the Ladies Hall now ahead of its release on Tuesday. If you want to get more,
Please,
yes,
please.
yes, because we want more of these books to be out in the world, and by pre-ordering it, it shows like we value these stories and we want them
Absolutely.
out here. To pre-order the book, to learn more about Vanessa's catalog, you can go to vanessamiller.com. You can also connect with her on social media and get updates about her events. Like we said, she is going on tour and she may be in a city near you. So follow her at author Vanessa Miller on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, I believe as well, and Facebook.
Yes.
She's everywhere, so that way
Yeah.
you can
And
find
and I'm
out where she
mostly
is.
on Facebook is Vanessa Miller Pierce. I do have an author Vanessa Miller, but I'm
Okay,
mostly on Vanessa Miller Pierce,
gotcha.
Pierce, on Facebook.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you again, Vanessa. And I am so excited for folks to get the Ladies Hall.
Me too. I'm excited for release day. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, everybody, and
Yes.
I really appreciate you joining us.
Yes, thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye bye.